But first of all, thank you. We are very happy to be here today on the stage to present Horizon. So thank you, the Polkadot community, for inviting us and giving us the opportunity to present the Horizon project. I'm here today with my friend and colleague from Horizon Labs, Giacomo Gussini, and I'm from the Horizon teams. So today, okay, maybe I've...
You have to point it.
Est-ce que je pointe quelque part ou... Merci. Okay. Okay. Merci. So during this presentation, we will present the Horizon, so from its origins as Zencash and how it became an interoperable network. Also with the new Horizon Eon sidechain that is EVM compatible. So we will see what was Zencash first. We will do a short dive into the CCTP protocol, so between the main chain and our sidechains. Then we will go through Eon, the Gobi permanent testnet, or bug bounties, and what the community can do to help us. Horizon started in 2017 as Zencash, so that's a fork from Zcash that is itself a fork from Bitcoin. So we had and we have today the private transactions, so the user has a choice to do a private transaction or not, and also private messaging, so thanks to our different tools. With the years, we became the pro in the ZK snarks industry, and that's how we became today the zero-knowledge network of blockchains. That Giacomo will tell you more about that.
Thank you. And yes, definitely, no, it was a big journey. You can see here in this slide, fast forward of 6 years from being just a cryptocurrency, let's say, to being an entire ecosystem. And everything starts with Zendoo, our cross-chain transfer protocol. We'll name it CCTP from now on. And everything starts there. This is what opens the possibility to the rest of the ecosystem, and we will talk more about that in a second. But just worth mentioning, and we will cover that more as well, some keywords, not only keywords, but steps we have taken, components of our ecosystem that are key parts of our technology stack. So starting from Zendoo, then we have the nodes, of course, of our network that we call the Zen nodes. We started developing our wallets. You can see here mentioned the Sphere, which is our flagship wallet, useful for the main chain, and Cobalt wallet, which is our super easy to use, browser integrated wallet used from our sidechains. And of course, the sidechains themselves, here mentioned Token Mint and Eon. We'll talk more about that in a second. Let's start from the very beginning. So it is worth to spend a couple of minutes just having a look at the very core of our model, which is, as I was saying, the CCTP. So basically, here we are talking about a software component that is integrated within the Horizon main chain as well as within the sidechains, and that enables interoperability and communication between these two systems. It is done via enabling communication of messages, let's say in general, but more specifically, we can talk about moving assets. In the case of our Horizon main chain, we're talking about Zen, our currency, and we can do it with two operations, which we call forward transfer and backward transfer. And as the name suggests, forward from the main chain to the sidechain, and then vice versa, from the sidechain back to the main chain with the backward transfer. More on the backward transfer is more complicated than that, because backward transfer requests are encapsulated within certificates that do not contain only the backward transfer request, but contains also what you can imagine as likely snapshots of the current status of the sidechains, of the sidechain that is submitting the certificate. So basically, you can think as a commitment of the sidechain to a determinate state in time on the public decentralized proof of work Horizon main chain. All of that, of course, is covered in our white paper. It was wrote and published 3 years ago. Then the development started 2 years ago live in mainnet. And this is where the possibility starts now, because after that, sidechains can be a thing in mainnet, and everything starts from there. One last thing on that slide is this is the first interoperability protocol in the Horizon ecosystem, not the last. Here we have interoperability between main chain and sidechain. What we are currently working on is interoperability between different sidechains. So let me say on the childs, no? And something we'll hear more and we'll also mention during the presentation. But now that we have the basics, let's see how the journey has been.
Thank you, Giacomo. So yeah, we started in 2017 as Zencash, and right after we were born, we started with the secure nodes. To be clear, Horizon is a proof of work blockchain. So the coins that are the blocks that are added to the chain are mined by the miners. But we created the node layer to have more security on the network. So to have a node to verify the transactions the miner added on the blockchain. So to reward the secure nodes, we give them a part of the coin-based transaction that is won by the miner. So we started with these secure nodes. So with 32 Zen to stake in order to run to all the secure nodes, and that was a huge success. Then a bit later in our journey in 2018, we were victim of a 51% attack. So to mitigate the risk, we wrote a white paper and implemented a solution to mitigate this risk. So we penalize the delayed blocks that are broadcasted delayed on the network. So this solution is available for any proof of work system in the industry. Later in 2018, we became Horizon. And we also published the first white paper about sidechains. So the technology changed meanwhile, but interoperability was at the core of the project as its beginnings. In 2019 again, we created the Sphere wallet, so that's the main chain wallet that is useful to all the nodes, but also to do private transactions and also private messaging. That's the flagship wallet. You can also have news about Horizon within the wallet. In 2019, we created the Horizon Academy. So at first, that was very focused on blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and a Horizon project. But today, you can also find a lot of information about the DeFi ecosystem, about smart contracts, and the apps. So everything related to interoperability, EVMs, and all the new features that we have in the blockchain industry today. In this year, we were also see the birth of Horizon Labs. So that's the company that builds projects and services on the Horizon blockchain. So, for example, I am from Horizon, and Giacomo is from Horizon Labs. This same year, we also created the super node. So instead of staking 32 Zen in order to hold the node, that was required to stake 500 Zen to host a node. So then in 2020, we released the Zendu white paper, and just after, the Zendu network was open, so that permitted to Horizon to become a layer 0. Then, so in 2021, we created the HDE. So that was a place to permit to any committee member and ambassador to go on Horizon to perform some task and be rewarded for that. We had the first ecosystem halving in 2021. So now the miner gets 6.25 Zen. every time they mine a block. We had the Blaze SDK released on the same year. So the Blaze SDK permit enables any developer to build a sidechain on the Zendoo ecosystem. And we released our first sidechain that is more a proof of concept sidechain that was released in 2022, the token mint sidechain. So to permit to anyone in the Horizon ecosystem to mint tokens and mint NFTs that will live inside the Horizon ecosystem. In 2022 as well, we released the Cobalt wallet. So that is was useful at first for the token mint holders, the one who built on a token mint, so to exchange token, to create them, and to view NFTs. And is now useful to mint and to live with the Horizon Eon sidechain and the Gobi testnet. And so yeah, the Horizon Eon sidechain, the EVM compatible sidechain was released this year on testnet and is soon available on mainnet. But I let Giacomo tell you more about this Horizon Eon sidechain.
Yes, sure. So finally, Eon. Eon, what is Eon? Eon is a sidechain, basically, but the important thing is our latest sidechain, and is the first sidechain ever in the Horizon ecosystem, being fully Ethereum virtual machine compatible, while implementing our CCTP protocol, so being part of the Horizon ecosystem. So this is basically our step forward into smart contract capabilities world. And looking at this representation here, you might think it's somehow representative now of what we were seeing before on the explaining on the CCTP, and indeed it is. The difference is that what we are looking here right now is not prototypes, is not proof of concept. We are looking at two existing chains, blockchains that are side chains within the Horizon ecosystem, that live in parallel and do their own business, let me say, in parallel with the main chain. And the key takeaway also is that there are differences between those two sidechains. What remains the same is implementing the CCTP protocol, but they have different models, like token mint, for example, is UTXO-based. Eon is account-based, of course, different consensus parameters. So what remains the same is the protocol implementation, then up to the sidechain to implement and make changes and tuning based on the use case you want to serve, or in other words, the problem you want to solve, maybe. And back to Eon, it was, as I said before, is our latest sidechain, and our biggest effort is in the Horizon space. Why do I say Horizon space? Because it was not only the effort from the company, Horizon Labs I work for, but also a joint effort with the community. Because, as Manon will walk us through, we have gone through different stages in testnet, always looping feedbacks with the community, leveraging the communities as testers also, providing feedback on our functionalities, and that's how we kept the quality bar high. And that's how we are approaching mainnet, delivering constantly software in incremental value in an agile way. But yes, let's see what the stages have been from till now and what's next very soon.
So the Horizon Eon journey started approximately 1 year ago. And in December, we had already our first private testnet, so aimed to the team and the key ambassadors, developer ambassadors. In January, we launched the June testnet. So to be invited to the June testnet, you had to be on the developer newsletter, and you received an application form to deploy on this June testnet. Then in February, we launched the first public testnet, Yuma, that lasted approximately 2 months. And then we saw the Gobi permanent testnet in April. So that will remain the Horizon Eon testnet for anyone to test their dApp and smart contracts before deploying on mainnet. The mainnet is being released soon, very soon. So if you want to be the first to know, feel free to follow us on our social media, on Discord, on Twitter, and Telegram, and also on our developer newsletter to not miss this opportunity. But going back to Gobi, we have now 15 partner integrations and even more because there is a lot of integration coming again today and even this week. So we invite you all to test our Gobi testnet. You will have the link at the end of the presentation. And because the idea, we want to build something that is made for the developers and by the developers. So feedback is really important for us. So feel free to test on Gobi, give your feedback, tell us what tools you would like to see on the testnet, and we will be happy to answer your needs. We also have some bug bounties program. So we have one right now with Humidify. So if you are already a great developer or a developer willing to test and to see what is wrong with our sidechain, feel free to do so. We have the bug bounties for that. And we also have some hackathons. We have one that just ended one week ago, and we will have more in the future. So for that, stay updated to the news, so Twitter, Discord, and even the developer newsletter. So that was for Horizon Neon and the Gobi testnet, but we also had a very important news this year that was taken with the community about the deprecation of mainnet shielded pools, and I will let Giacomo tell you more about this news.
Yes, thanks. So as you said, changing subject, so moving away from Neon and all of that, you do remember our foundation is still the main chain. It's still our Horizon main chain, fully decentralized and proof of work. So basically we have a various engineering team working on our software stack, and the main chain still is always improvement on the main chain will always be part of our effort. So with this Zen improvement proposal, what we are proposing, if you do remember now, when we said that Horizon start being basically essentially a privacy coin, this is the first step moving away from that. First of all, because it is a limitation somehow, we don't want to be just that. Then, of course, worth mentioning, we want to meet regulators' demand. And we think that preserving privacy on the main chain level is not the only way we can offer privacy capabilities. We have the side chains. We can talk about selective confidentiality. There are other ways, better ways. So basically, this Zen improvement proposal for 2204, it will be the first step in that direction, basically removing the possibility for user to add more Coinbase to what we call the shielded pools. So shielded transaction, basically the possibility for users on the main chain to move assets from to a sender to a receiver without disclosing the sender, the receiver, and the amount. The first step will be to disable the possibility on a consensus level to shield new Coinbase that actually is in the transparent address. So reducing the impact and the amount of the shielded pool on our all Coinbase, and yeah, and moving on from starting from that. No, if you are interested and want to join the conversation, because of course there are conversation ongoing, I strongly suggest to join on Discord, because on our in that space on various channels there are very interesting conversation with long-term community members and of course team members of Horizon Labs. So please, if you are interested, check this out.
Yes, exactly, because like for the Zen IP, as we mentioned, the decision was made with the community. We drafted the Zen IP in maybe in January. We had a lot of talks with the community about the Zen IP. Should we remove the shielded pool transaction? Shouldn't we? And the community agreed by 80%. So that was a huge yes from the community, and that's why we're moving on that. And so we have the testnet and mainnet incoming. We have this very global community. So here you see the pictures from a lot of meetups that we did all around the world. So that's a pretty global community, and that's also the strength of Horizon, but also of many cryptocurrencies and blockchain, because we can share the knowledge and the strength between each other. If you want to join the community, you can as a developer, you can as an ambassador, you can also just as a believer. You can also join the team. You can also deploy anything you want on Horizon Learn and Zendu. So feel free to join us. We will be happy to have you. This is the end of the presentation. So here you have 2 QR codes. One to have the website on Horizon Learn, so to deploy on our new EVM sidechain, Noan testnet, and also to join the newsletter to be the first to know when the mainnet is released. Thank you, everyone.
What a journey, Horizon. Nice. Thank you, Manon.